like start with the service procurement one.
Okay, so just add on that. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
So this is like I've just copied the same data from the previous one, like the one which was given for reference, right?
Mhm. Okay,
Uh, so this is the index.
okay.
This is about. So should I explain about the process, or like should I go directly to the
So just
process for that?
high level you can explain. So high level you can explain every subtitles.
Okay, so service procurement, basically what happens is like in an organization, if like some activity we need to carry out, like painting or the maintenance of laptops, etc., then what we do is like we hire certain vendors who like carry out the work for us. So that process is basically called as a service procurement process. So what we'll be doing is like we'll be creating a service procurement. So there are various steps that are involved in service procurement. First, it starts with creating a service master, which is similar to what we do for a material. That is, a material master will create the material. So similarly, we create a service master. Then we have certain conditions, like service conditions, we'll create for that service master that we had created. Then we'll be creating a purchase order with the account assignment and an item category. Basically, for services, the item category will be D, and account assignment is considered like we usually take the cost center. Then we have service entry sheets, and at the last, it's the vendor payments. Sir, I wanted to ask, like, what's the business requirement? Is basically why we are getting those vendors.
Okay, see business requirement for services. For example, I can say there is a internal the plant level inside the plant. So there are some services. For
Okay.
example, there is a machinery. So it's a production point of view. We can say there is a machinery, repairs and services. So
Okay.
if plant maintenance is there, so they will take care. Okay. So suppose plant we don't have any plant maintenance module. So what happens? So we need to create as a cost center, right?
Okay.
And so then we need to prepare the services. Okay. So this is one of the type of services. And a second thing we can say there is a project related service. Suppose if you have the project, for example, there is a construction company, so they have the services. For example, so they have the contract employees will be working in the project, or there is a activity will be performed by the vendor in the long term, right? So these all
Okay.
that we call it as a services. So what we do, so we have to prepare the service activity number as a master data instead of material master, and
Yes.
we need to assign, for example, employee, right? Suppose they are working the contract employee. For example, there is a construction project, like the road construction. There is an employee working for 1 month is a contracting. So for this 1 month, we have to specify. You have to get based on the grade. What is the per hour salary, or maybe per day salary, or per month salary? So we need to create a service activity number. Then we need to assign in the purchase order, and this has to go for approval. So based on that, whatever the based on the weekly basis or monthly basis, we are going to perform the services. Okay. So
Yeah.
this is for
Uh,
the project related services. So
yeah.
yeah.
Sorry to disturb you, sir. I just wanted to ask, like, this business requirement. We have to create like and maintain department wise here, or just like overall we can say like.
You just maintain project related services. You can maintain the maintenance services. Suppose plant maintenance is there, so how the services will occur? So they will take the plant maintenance like internal order, I mean work order. So this
Okay.
work order, the purchase requisition will be created like a account assignment category F for order, item category for D for services. So F and D will be created with reference to your plant maintenance order. Okay, so
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
is one type of service procurement. So second
Okay.
case, as I told you, there is a, let's say there is a there is a IT department. Let's say there is a AC. They want to do the filter services, or they want to do annual services or something. So
Yeah.
this is kind of cost center related services.
Cost
Okay.
center. Yes.
And third scenario, there is a project level. As I told you, there are the contract employees will be working, or maybe the painting, contracting. So whatever the activity the vendor is performing, so we consider called as a services. So this is a project specific services. Okay, so these three process you can able to update like case one, case two, case three in your BVP with the flow diagram. So it would
Yeah.
be perfect. Yeah.
Okay, so this is the process flow diagram. Should I enlarge it or it's
Yeah,
fine?
make it little enlarge.
It's visible, sir.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so basically what happens is like the purchase from a specific department, as you said, sir, from a specific department, we get a purchase requisition stating that we need a particular service, and then that is been approved by the departmental manager. Once it is been approved, it goes to the uh, purchase department, who will just convert this requisition into a purchase order. And once it is been done, the like once it like it again has to be approved by the manager, and once it has been approved, then the people who are going to come and carry out the services will be carried out. So once the services have been carried out, the purchaser, what he'll do is like he'll maintain the service sheets, like for how many hours these people have been working, what the wages and all. And then once it has been done, these service entry sheets will be given to the finance department, who will just pay the vendor. So
Okay, so here you can specify the header. You can put it, let's say what type of services, so that you can able to specify whether
okay.
it is maintenance services or cost center services or project services. So
Project.
like that you
Okay.
can make it three different business flow diagram,
Okay.
and then you can give a detailed process steps.
Okay, no problem, sir. I'll add just that. So I have to make three process flow diagrams then?
Yes, yes. So department means like so how the purchase requisition will be creating. For example, project site engineer will create the purchase requisition.
Yes, yes,
Let's
for
say for plant
maintenance.
maintenance, the plant maintenance,
Maintenance.
user will be creating, right? So
Yes,
cost
yes.
center, then there is a, you can say there is a department user. So which department, whether it is a IT department or purchase department, right? We have the cost center. So respective user will create the purchase requisition of the services.
Okay, sir. I'll do that. And I'll update you by tomorrow, sir.
Sure.
Then the to be process flow steps, which I will explain, like I'll show. First, we'll create the service master record. So this is the T code. And then we'll create the service conditions. Then once it has been created, we'll create the purchase requisition, like with the service master record and item categories and account assignments. So once it has been approved, a purchase order will be created, which will again go for approval. And once it has been done, service entry sheets will be created. And then, sir, I've explained about all this, whatever steps we have included here. So I've explained about all of this. Should I explain all these steps?
Yeah, you can just high level, you can explain.
So service master, basically what happens is like we'll be having an activity, as sir told, like depending upon the departments, we can create a activity. So we can create an activity, like for example maintenance. Then we need to maintain certain data such as the description or the service category, what unit of measure, basically hours or something like that, by using the T code AC03, and that is how we'll create the service master record. Once it has been created, then we'll do the service conditions. So the service conditions, we have condition record, right? We need to maintain all of those things, right?
Yes, yes. For example, there is a contract, right? So when
Yeah,
it is
pricing.
for contract purpose, so we can create as a condition record, also consider as the contract price. Okay,
Okay.
so there is a ML51 or ML52. So
Okay.
if you create the condition record based on the vendor and the plant combinations, so then this cost will arise in the purchase order. Okay.
So that is pricing procedure itself, right?
Pricing procedure has to be created. So then we
Yeah.
have to maintain the condition record with the vendor combinations and plant combination, the price, service activity level. So you need to create the access sequences based on these three combinations. If yes, then you can able to maintain the price in the condition record for services. And then it's like a fixed price, right? So maybe this
Yeah.
is one specific approver, who is going to create these condition records. So based on that, throughout the, if there is any changes maybe as per the agreement, then they will do the changes in the condition record level instead of contract creations. Otherwise, every time they have to create a contract, so this contract has to go for approval process. So unnecessarily we need to, spend more time on this activity. So better we
Yeah.
can create as a service condition record based on the fixed price, what the vendor, initial we had agreement between the company and the vendor, so service vendor. So this price will be updated in the condition records.
Okay. So then, next is a purchase requisition. What we'll do is like whatever activity we have created, we'll create a purchase requisition with this, and in addition to that, we'll be adding like choosing an item category and cost center. So once it's been done, we can also change it. Like if you want to add something, then we can make some changes. And next is an approval of purchase requisition. There will be a release strategy, and like individuals will be assigned for a particular release depending upon the release codes. And once everything has been released, like every code has been released, codes have been released, then only the purchase requisition will go like for purchase order. Like we can go for purchase order. Next one is an RFQ. If so Hello. Hello.
Yes, yes. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, it's audible.
Am I audible, sir? Yeah, hello.
Yes, yes.
So then after that, I've created a purchase order similar to an RFQ with the same activity numbers and all.
Okay, so purchase order creation, what all the steps you are included? So, okay, you mentioned what is the document type you are going to use it, what is the account assignment category, what is the item category,
Yes,
what type
document
of
I've
vendor,
mentioned NB standard
so
one, and
what type
then
of vendor you are using for the services. So do you have any
okay,
separate, account group for services? And what about the payment terms? What about the prices? So what about the, Incoterms. So like that, there are so many. If you open the purchase order, there are you can say
yeah,
more than 100 fields are there. But at least you have to explain minimum 20 to 30 fields what it denotes. So why these fields are required. So you
okay,
need to explain about those fields.
okay.
Right.
So
But anyway, proceed.
like I've only mentioned the document type, item category, and that's it. So
Yeah.
I'll include that as well, sir.
Yeah, yeah. So whatever the field we are entering in the purchase order, start with your document type of the PO and vendor, what type of vendor we are using, right? So like that, you know what all the fields in the purchase order, right? And then
Yeah.
you have to explain about the approval process also. So then you have to mention, based on the value, who are the person is going to approve. So that
Okay.
condition, yeah, not that is a separate table column format you have to add it.
Yes. Yeah.
So in the purchase
So
requisition, who is going to approve, purchase order, who is going to approve, right?
so sir, I have to include the entire release strategy because basically it will contain all those things, right?
Yes,
Or
yes.
just like the people who are approving it. Like by taking an example,
Hmm.
we can just
Yeah, we will share you that this one like a KDS for the approval, PR approval, PO approval. What is the strategy? So based on
okay,
the department, so we have the user who is going to approve. So
okay,
that detail we will share it, but keep the one place. So where you are going to update like a PR level, PO level, contract is there, then contract level. So like that we need to identify to approve the managers and all. Keep the place, okay. So then once the KDS is ready, you can copy paste those approval process right in your BBP.
okay, no problem. So I'll do that. So I have to do it like I have to do it now, or
No,
I
okay,
can do
that's
it
what.
well
You
in
identify the
KDS.
places in the put it like a purchase requisition approval, approval process. So like the one
Okay.
heading you put it. So once the KDS is ready, so then copy paste those KDS in your BVP.
Okay, okay, no problem. So once we'll be doing KDS, that time I can do that, right? No
Yes,
problem.
yes. But keep it on the heading. Put the heading so that you can direct where to copy paste those KDS.
Okay, no problem. I'll do that, sir. So for everything, like service entry sheets also I've like mentioned, I've not mentioned anything, like what all fields I have to include and all.
Yeah, so here service entry sheet also we have the approval process. Okay, so you need to
Yeah,
specify
yeah,
those
that
things.
that one I
Right?
have mentioned, but I have not.
So like a document date, what is the posting date, what is the reference number, right? So what all the discounts is there, so how we can able to, so how the discount is copied from your purchase order from the pricing point of view. So
Yes.
where you are maintaining in the, because there are two places, right? Condition as service activity number, service, item level, PO item level, there is a services, then particular activity number. So we will maintain the price and discounts.
Yes,
And the
yes.
second, there
Um,
is a conditions. There are two places are there.
yes,
So
sir.
when there is a service related, prices or any discounts or any other charges, so then you need to go with the service, pricing procedures, right? So that
Mhm.
pricing procedure where you will update under the services, okay, not in the conditions. Condition is the total prices of the particular services. Maybe you have a four line, so five, six sub services. So those price will be added into the conditions. Okay, this is the another pricings. So you should be very clear. So where we are entering the service related, prices and discounts or any other delivery charges and all. So service pricing procedures. Okay. So same thing you can explain in the service industry creation also. What all the how this prices is reflecting and all and yeah. So maybe some services like let's say there is a square meter square feet wise they will have the services. So in this case, so let's say they will maintain what are the type of services you are going to perform. Let's say there is a 12 months services are there, so they will put it 12 months, but every month you have to put it one month services you have to complete in the service industry. So this is one type of services. So
Okay.
another one is like maybe square feet, total square feet. So based on that square feet work is completed, so the service will be completed, right? So like that you have to say explain the type of services, how you are going to create the service entry sheet,
Okay.
right? So that points also include in the service entry sheet, and with the approval process, those things also, right?
Okay, I'll do so.
Yeah.
Then the integration is like I didn't like FICO and all. You That's it.
Yeah.
I've included.
Integration points, especially for service activity number, you have service master, there is a valuation class, and there is a GL assignment. There is one of the integrations. And
Okay.
second thing, there is a payment terms you have to mention. So payment terms will be integration of MM and FI.
FIS.
Yeah,
Okay.
and others integrations like mm, payment terms and yeah taxes. So what are the service taxes applicable for UAE? So that you, I mean,
So
KSA.
finance will be with
Yeah,
finance
so that
only.
he has to update. Fine. And if there is any retentions, right? So for example, subcontracting. So whenever there is a services, then they will have the retentions apart from the there is a down payment. So maybe there is some retention. So based on, so maybe 5% of retentions will be captured. So based on the services. So finally this will be released. So end of the work is completed. Okay, so this retention also you try to add it. So how, so this retention we are going to capture in the purchase order, and during the invoice how this retention is going to be calculated. So what is the accounting impact for the services, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So this performance measure, I didn't get anything, so I just copied from the document, like this performance measure, interface, and gap and solutions. Like I didn't had
Okay.
any idea. Can you just like
Okay, so here there is no any interfaces actually, so you can leave it, so you can proceed.
okay, I'll just let it blank.
Yeah, interface is not applicable.
And so what are performance measures like?
See, performance is like how that converting your purchase requisition to purchase order, right?
Okay.
So like how performance means, okay. So how you are reduce their time, right? So
Hmm.
how you reduce their time in SAP, earlier how it was, so now how, so within how many frames? So because we have the approval process, there is a
Yes,
workflow.
yes.
So if there is any kind of approval, you can set the workflow time also, right? So in such a
Hmm.
way, if SAP is going to regulate the work, and is going to make the manager to approve the purchase order in the respective time. So These are all reducing proceed the approval of purchase order. So these are all the measurements like performance, we can say that.
So in like
And there is a purchase order also, how this purchase order they are sending to the vendor. So here
okay,
how the PDF file is generating. So these are all automatically. Suppose some case what happen once the purchase order is gets approved. So the PO soft copy has to there is a digital signature, right? So we don't want to take any printouts and no need to take the hard copy of the printout and it submit to that particular manager to get the physical signature. So that is not required. So now we can specify when the final approver of the PO gets approved. So we can make a digital signature. So once the digital signature is there, that is sufficient. So where we can we can share this PDF file to the vendor. So vendor can acknowledge this. So no need to. So because these are all the performance measurements, right? So we can reduce the time. So unnecessarily they are wastage of time and the papers also, right? So we are going to take the printouts. So those things and all it's avoided, right?
yeah. So basically, like for example, if we say then auto PO can be one of the performance measure, right?
Yeah, yeah. See what we can do. So once the PO gets approved with the final approver, so then this purchase order will get show the digital signature. Okay, you can see the print preview. Otherwise, it will show the draft version, right? So
Okay.
that you can mention here. Okay, so otherwise it will show the draft version and the purchase order cannot be printed. Even if we printed also, it's a draft, right? So nobody will accept.
Okay.
And then you can see how once the purchase order gets approved, how we can able to send the PO to the vendor, so that we can implement during the configuration or testing phases. We can apply this when the final approval gets approved, and the digital signature has to be displayed in the purchase order, and automatically this PO has to go to the vendor, right? So that we can implement.
Okay. Sir, what about gaps and solutions?
So gaps and solution that you need to go through that in the scope document if they have any identify any gap, or otherwise you just come out with some gaps. What are the gaps? We can able to give a solution. So as I told you, you can maybe one or two gaps maybe per process if you can able to identify. So it will be added advantage, right? So you can
Sir,
able
I
to.
have identified one, but I don't know the solution. Like, for example, if you want the material list, so we have a T code MM60, right? And if we want to get the vendor list, so we can get MKVZ, we can use. But we cannot get both this material as well as vendor in a single report, sir, right? Like, we don't have a T code where we can get this
See, the
both together.
material vendor purchase order, we have the reports, okay? So
Okay.
nowhere there is a vendor and material combination. So when the vendor and material combination will come when there is a purchase order is created, correct?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
until and otherwise, no need to create those reports, right? Otherwise, individual report is sufficient. Whatever MKVZ or whatever MM60 report, that is sufficient. But
Okay.
when there is a purchase order created, then only you can link the material and vendor, right? Until and otherwise, there is no any link. Why material and vendor has to be linked without purchase order? So these reports are already available. Okay,
Okay.
so you can able to explain there are ME2L, ME2M.
Yeah, yeah, that
So
is.
those reports you can able to update here. But you can see some validation. For example, in purchase order creations, right? So you have to specify like a contact person. There is a text field, right? So you can specify contact person, or
Okay.
you can specify the email or something like that. You can make one of the enhancements. So when the purchase order is created, you can make it this field as a mandatory. Or second, I can say maybe when there is a purchase order based on the document type and your ARC data should be the same. For example, you are creating the PO document type and your plant or purchase organization or purchasing group. So these combinations should be unique. Until and otherwise, then everybody will create those document types and all. So we can do the validations. So specific, let's say for Zayat or specific, the divisions, this document type and this organization unit should be accepted. Otherwise, we have to throw there. So this is one of the validation you can do. So like that, we can have so many, in purchase order, we can do so many. And as I told you, this PO. So how we can able to, send the purchase order after approval. So how we can able to send this PO to vendor. So this is also kind of enhancements, right? So we need to address. And so like that, you just think about that. Hmm?
Yeah, okay, I'll try to come up with something.
Sure.
Then configurations are like I've added all the steps that are like I have carried, like we can carry out the configuration.
Okay.
So should I read it?
This is fine. This is sufficient.
Yeah. Then standard reports.
Okay. Explain what all the reports. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll get a purchase requisition, like a list of all the purchase requisitions. If we want to get like an entire, not depending upon the vendor or material, then we can use this ME5A transaction code, sir. Then based on account assignment, uh, if you want to get some purchase requisition based on account assignment, like for example cost center and all, then we can use ME5K.
Yeah.
Hello.
Proceed.
Yeah. Then we have quota arrangement. If you want to get the list of quota arrangements by the list of vendors, then we can use ME4L. By material, we can use ME4M. If a material group, then we can use ME4C. And then there is RFQ number, which is like we can use 4N. This number is basically the collective number, collective RFQ. I've just copy pasted. Then we have the purchase order general list like ME80FN, a purchase order list by vendors, ME2N, by material it's ME2M. I think it's just 2M, and this is 2C. If you want to get through material group list of all the purchase orders to material group, then we can use ME2C. Then we have the material document list MB51. This is after like we do the hello.
Yes. 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 Continue.
Yeah. Then if you want to find out the accounting entries, then we can use MR51. Then there's 3T codes like for invoice documents and all. If you want to print the RFQ, then we can use ME9A. If you want to print the outline agreements, then it's 9K. Purchase order is 9F. If you want to display the material, it's MM60. If you want to get the RFQs by list of services, then we can use this T codes MSRV4, and PO will get by MSRV3, outline agreements by MSRV5. So that much I have included. So, and this is security and authorization considerations based on the process steps that we have included. So I've just included that.
Okay, so here the role you can put as a standard role. Okay, who will create the purchase requisition? So maybe the requisitioner, right? Requisitioner. So
Yeah,
such
sir,
level you can.
I had one like this is the standards that they are using, right? ZMM.
This is not a standard actually. So this is the
Okay.
scope they have maintained, customized only. You go with the standard role.
Okay.
So purchase requisition
Is
and
the central purchaser like that I have to mention, right?
yes, yes,
Or
yes,
the warehouse clerks and all.
yes.
Okay, I'll do that changes. So. And so we have to maintain for the entire steps that we carry out, or just like, for example, the purchase order, then I can write PO, GR like that, or I have to create for everyone.
High level is okay. Purchase requisition, then RFQ process, then
Oh,
purchase order process, like that is efficient.
okay. And what about this organization elements that?
Organization element, yeah. So that is anyway that will be take care while create the role. So this is belongs to which plant or purchasing group or company code they have to assign that they will take care.
Okay.
That you can okay. So this is fine. So plant means so which plant? So that is during the roles and authorization creation by the basis and security consultant. Then they will maintain this information PFCG. Will create the roles. So you can leave this.
Okay. So that is it, sir.
So here, what are the layout like a purchase requisition printout or RFQ printout or quotation comparison layout or even purchase order printout or goods receipt printout or return delivery. So these
Okay.
many layout you need to attach in your BVP. Okay. So noting down whatever I explained the layout. So just request with Srikanth. So he will share these layout. So you can
Yeah.
attach in your BBP. Okay.
Okay.
And
So can you
these,
repeat once, like we can
like
just need to
purchase
follow?
requisition printout
Okay.
and RFQ printout and
Okay.
quotation comparison printout customized
o-
and purchase order printout. If
Okay.
contract is there, then you can able to take contract printout
Okay.
and purchase order printout. Then there is a goods receipt
Yeah.
printout and return to vendor, return delivery, right? So there is
Yeah.
a
Written.
rejection, so there is a return. So these forms layout has to be specified here. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, and sir, what about change management? What is that?
Change management, okay, PO creation without referring to PR will not be possible. Okay, so these are all the validations actually. So
Okay.
suppose, when the user trying to create the purchase order without any reference to contract or without reference to any purchase requisition, then we need to have a checkpoint. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Okay. Got it. Like we need to have reference when we are creating POs like that.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So, sir, like in reality, it's like if we create a PR, then PO will be created in reference with reference to the PO itself, or what?
See,
Like,
reality there is a CRO is there, contract
yes.
release order is there, which means there is a single contract with reference to contract, you will release the PO, right? We call this
Yeah.
a CRO. And there is an option, some cases you will create the PR, so directly you will raise the PO. Okay, so
Okay.
this is one of the cases, case two. And case three, so we have the RFQ. Suppose you are procuring the material and you have multiple sources, then you have to get the quotation, then you have to, finalize the quotations, right? So
Yeah.
then you are going to create the, confirmed order, purchase order. So this is one of the cases. So you have to include those. Yeah.
Okay, sir. So that's it, sir.
Okay. So that's it. So I think your PVP looks good actually. So expecting you just share this template to others also. So I'm expecting the same for all the modules, even PP, SD, even FICO also. Please follow the same. So how we detailedly explain about every steps. So that is what. But still he's going to add it something missing. But still looks like
Yeah.
it's good actually. So just share your template in the group so that everyone can able to follow your BBP. Hmm?
Okay. Okay. I'll do so.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.